I'm Miss Lauren and welcome to this week's story time. So our story time today is going to be all about gardening and flowers, which are two very popular things in the spring, right? And you can plant and garden your flowers. Now, besides flowers, which are obviously beautiful, most everyone loves flowers. Do you know of any other kinds of things that you can plant and garden that maybe you can eat? Does anybody have any guesses? How about tomatoes or cucumber? Anybody like cucumber? Zucchinis, peppers, anything else? Lettuce, spinach, all kinds of things that maybe you can put in a salad, right? Can anybody think of anything else that you might be able to plant? What about broccoli or cauliflower? Anybody like broccoli or cauliflower? I'm probably listing off a lot of things that you guys as children don't particularly care for, but those are all the kinds of things that you can plant in a garden, and then you water them and feed them, take care of them, and then towards the end, you get all these bountiful things, all the things that we listed, like the tomatoes and the cucumbers and zucchinis, all from your very own garden that you worked on with your own hands. That's pretty cool, right? And same thing with flowers. You can make flowers grow big and bright, all because you garden them. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's what we're going to be learning about today in our story time. As usual, some stories, some games, different things, all about flowers and gardening. So I hope you guys have fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our opening song, If You're Ready for a Story. Everybody stand up for me. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Make your hands all nice and neat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. Good job. Let's get started. Okay, so the first book we're going to read today is called The Forever Garden. Let's get started. Okay. In sunshine and shower, in darkness and wind, Honey tends her garden. Honey's knees are always muddy. Sometimes when it's cold outside, she tucks her garden in. Shh. When the lettuces are small and new, Honey thins them. Her scissors say, ship, and the peas climb up. Honey pulls her beets from the ground with a shout that scares the chickens. Ha! Honey sings to the kale. She says it sings back, but I can't hear it. Not even when I listen close. I hang on the fence in the mornings. Honey feeds me tiny carrots washed under the pump. Yellow tomatoes the size of marbles. They taste like sunshine. When it rains, I watch from the window. Sometimes Mom sends me to Honey for an egg to bake with. Honey's eggs are pink and green, smooth and speckled. The chickens get mad. They scatter. Clock! Presto, says Honey as she slips an egg into my hand. The egg is warm. Each Friday night I ask Honey to dinner. She brings bouquets of funny things. Squash blossoms, rosemary, raspberries on a prickle branch. Nothing matches, but everything fits, and the table smells like a meadow. On nice nights, Honey eats in her garden. Beans and salad, a jug of water from the pump, tinkling cold. When the fireflies come out, I go over for dessert. Honey always has cookies. I have 2 or 3. But one day, there's a sign in Honey's yard. Angry letters shout, "For sale." What's up, I ask. Honey peers at the sky. Rain, maybe? No. I mean, are you moving? Honey stares at the garden. Yes, she says. My mother is sick. She needs me. Oh, I say. I'm sorry. Me too. I kneel down, my knees get muddy, just like Honey's. The next day I lie under the sunflowers and watch Honey plant strawberries. Chickens doze, a bee buzzes. You know, there might be wasps where you're moving to, I warn her, or tornadoes. Honey turns to me and smiles. I'll miss you too, she says. I touch a strawberry leaf, dark and glossy. It trembles. We walk to the porch for a cool glass of water. When will the berries be ready? I ask. Next summer, says Honey. But then you won't be here to eat them. Honey takes off her gloves. Nope, she says, but someone will. That's not fair, I say. It's your garden. This garden isn't really mine, says Honey. It belongs to everyone. But you did all the work, I say. Honey shakes her head. I didn't plant the grapes, I only ate them. Then who did? Honey shrugs. No way to know, but that's just fine. The new folks will enjoy these strawberries the way I enjoyed the grapes. And if they add something, the garden will keep going. Maybe forever. The next day I ask to plant a tree. Apples are my favorite. We dig and dig, I get blisters. But when we're finished, Honey says the tree will last a long, long time. Like a person, she tells me, but with flowers. I make a sign so people will know. And then, well, looks like Honey is leaving. After that, Mom has to remember to buy eggs at the store. They aren't speckled at all. And nobody eats in the garden. But one day, there are new people at Honey's. Lots of people. Little people. They don't seem to know anything about gardens, so I help. Each day I slip over the fence to check on things. I weed the rows, I say hi to my tree, sometimes I sing to the kale. And you know what? When the world is very quiet, if I close my eyes, I can almost hear it singing back. And that's the end of the Forever Garden. All right, so it is time for our rocket song. Go ahead, put your hands together, make your rocket, and zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. If you'd like to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go! Good job! Okay, so the first game we're going to play today is called There's Something in My Garden. Now, when you think of things in a garden, you probably think of the things that you would plant, right? Like flowers, fruits, vegetables, different kinds of things. But do you ever think of the little animals that might get in your garden? Maybe eat your vegetables or live in the garden? So that's the game we're going to play today. And what I'm going to do is read you a little story, and then I'm going to make different animal sounds. Your job is to guess what animal has gotten into our garden. Are you ready? Let's get started. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Anybody know? A frog is what I found. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Anybody? A mouse is what I found. Squeak, squeak, squeak. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound. Caw, caw, caw. Anybody? A crow is what I found. Caw, caw, caw. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Any guesses? I think you guys probably know what this one is. A bird is what I found. Tweet, tweet, tweet. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I really can't see. Hear its funny sound. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Anybody know? A bee is what I found. Buzz, buzz, buzz. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I really can't see. Hear its funny sound. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Anybody know what this one is? Maybe a little more difficult. A caterpillar is what I found. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I really can't see. Hear its funny sound. Flutter, flutter, flutter. Anybody know? What might that be? A butterfly is what I found. Flutter, flutter, flutter. And those are all the different animals that you can find in a garden. So we've got our frog, our mouse, our crow, our bird, bee, caterpillar, and of course our butterfly. Good job, guys. Our next story today is called Saving Kate's Flowers. Let's get started. All right, let's see. So we've got bunny rabbits in this story. Okay. Mom, why do flowers die in the winter? Asked Kate, tumbling in a leaf pile. It gets too cold for them outside, Mom said as she dragged a rake across the lawn. Can we bring them all inside? That's a nice idea, honey, but we couldn't fit them all in our house. Kate's lower lip quivered. We could save a couple. Kate jumped up and down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mom showed her how to use a shovel to scoop up a plant with its roots and put it in a pot. Kate helped pat down the dirt and give the plant water. Ooh, can we save those? She asked. Black-eyed Susans come back next year, Mom said. They're called perennials. Those over there are impatiens. They only bloom once. They're called annuals. We can save them. They potted 2 impatiens. We'll take these seeds off the marigolds and dry them. Then we can plant them in the ground in the spring. Mom placed a few seeds in Kate's paw. I want those yellow ones too, Kate said, pointing to goldenrod. They saved 6 more plants, 2 geraniums, 3 snapdragons, and 1 goldenrod. Okay, that's enough, said Mom. Just a little more, please, Kate asked. The phone rang inside. I guess so. I've got to answer the phone. Mom leaped into the house, carrying some of the potted plants. Kate grabbed more pots out of the shed. She dug, potted, patted, and watered until all the empty pots were full. Mom still talked on the phone, hopping back and forth in front of the window. Kate picked up an armful of flower pots and carried them inside. She set a couple on the crowded windowsill and the rest on the kitchen table. Mom whispered to her, "No more." Kate held up 2 toes. Mom nodded and bounded into the living room. Kate grabbed cups and bowls from the cabinets. She raced outside. By the time Mom got off the phone, Kate had made several trips in and out of the house. How many more flowers did you save, honey? A whole bunch. Really? Where are they? I'll show you, said Kate. Look at all those flowers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Mom looked around Kate's room. Every dresser, shelf, and table was covered with flowers in bowls and cups. There's more in your room, Kate hopped down the hall. Doesn't it look pretty and smell like outside? She sniffed. Yes, beautiful. Achoo! That's Daddy, Kate said, rushing to the kitchen. What's going on here? Achoo, said Dad. Hi, Dad, Kate giggled. Achoo! It smells like a garden. He hugged her. Wow, where did all these plants come from? Achoo! I'm saving all the flowers from dying, Kate said. That's very nice, honey. Achoo! But I'm allergic. Achoo! Oh no, you'll have to sleep outside, Dad. I had a feeling this might happen, Kate, Mom said. Dad has allergies. Come on, let's take these flowers outside. I'm sorry, Kate, Dad said. All your hard work. Wait a minute, I don't want them to die. Let's go outside and figure out what to do, Mom said. Kate sat down on the front steps and sighed. Mom gave her a hug. What do you think we should do? Kate thought for a moment. We could give one to Mrs. Chin next door. She jumped up. And a bunch to the Hoppies, the Martin family, and Mrs. Pug. Great idea, Kate, said Dad. Achoo! I hope no one else is allergic. Mom, can I have some ribbon? Her mother hurried into the house and returned with red ribbon. Kate tied bows to each pot. They set them in a cardboard box on a wagon. Kate and Mom delivered plants to their neighbors. Would you like to save a flower from the winter? You would make it happy, she said to Mrs. Chin. Of course. Please give me 2 red geraniums. Mrs. Chin smiled as Kate handed her the plants. Mr. Hoppy chose 2 pink impatiens, and the Martins picked 1 begonia for each member of their family. Mrs. Pug settled on 3 white New Guinea impatiens. Kate and Mom gave away flowers to the rest of the neighborhood. Only the goldenrod remained. That can stay outside, Kate looked up. What about trees? Don't even think about it, Mom said. And that's the end of saving Kate's flowers. Okay, the next game we're going to play is called 5 Spring Flowers. Now, does anybody know what a flower needs to be able to grow big and strong and brightly colored? It needs water, right? And what's one way that we can get water that comes from the sky? Rain, you've got it. So that's a really good way for your flowers to get all the nutrients and food that they need to be able to grow big and strong. Okay, so that's going to play a role in our game today. So as you can see, we've got 5 flowers in a row. The first one says we need rain to grow. The second one says, oh yes, we need water. The third one says, whew, it's getting hotter. The fourth one says, I see clouds in the sky. The fifth one says, I wonder why. Then boom went the thunder. And crash went the lightning. That springtime storm was very frightening. But the flowers weren't worried. Oh, no, no, no. Because the rain helped them grow, grow, grow. And that's our game. Good job, guys. All right, everyone, it is time for our banana song. So, put your hands together above your head, make your banana, and peel bananas. Peel, peel bananas. Peel bananas. Peel, peel bananas. And chop bananas. Chop, chop bananas. Chop bananas. Chop, chop bananas. And mash bananas. Mash, mash bananas. Mash bananas. Mash, mash bananas. And eat bananas. Eat, eat bananas. Eat bananas. Eat bananas. Everybody knows what's the last thing we're gonna do? Go bananas! Good job, guys. Okay, our next game is called My Flowers, and we're going to use the flowers that we just used in our other game. So how many flowers do we have on our board right now? We have 1. Can we tell me what color it is? Anybody know? It's orange, you got it. 1 bright flower in my garden grew. Up popped another. And now there are, how many do we have? 1, 2, good job. And this one's color is yellow. 2 bright flowers for everyone to see. Up popped another, and now there are 1, 2, 3. And this one's color? Blue, you got it. 3 bright flowers that I adore. Up popped another, and now there are 1, 2, 3, 4. And this color? Green, you got it. 4 bright flowers prepared to thrive. Up popped another, and now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one's color is pink. Good job. 5 bright flowers standing straight and tall. 5 bright flowers answered spring's wake-up call. Good job. Okay, and our final story today is called Badger's Perfect Garden. One spring morning, Red Squirrel found Badger surrounded by dozens of jars. The jars were filled with seeds. The seeds looked hopeful, just like Badger. "What are you doing with all those seeds, Badger?" "Getting ready to plant. I gathered them late last summer and kept them in jars all through the fall and winter. Now I'm going to plant a perfect garden." Red Squirrel looked closer. "They're all different." "Yes, all kinds. Green and brown, flat and round, bumpy and smooth, whirly-curly and straight as my whiskers." "Where did you find them?" "Some from Weasel's garden, some from the wildflowers near Dormous's home. Some stuck themselves to my fur, and some floated in on the wind." "You have so many," said Red Squirrel. "You'll need help planting." Weasel brought his favorite rake. Red Squirrel helped Dormouse gather string. Badger studied his garden plan. "We have to make sure the ground is perfectly smooth," said Badger. Everyone weeded and raked. When the earth was as smooth as the forest pond in winter, Badger pushed big sticks into the dirt. Red Squirrel and Dormouse stretched string between the sticks to mark rows. "Be sure the rows are perfectly straight," said Badger. Weasel found a twig to make holes for the seeds. "Bumpy seeds in this row, round ones here. Keep the whirlies together," Badger directed. When the seeds were planted, Badger invited his friends to a celebration. Everyone enjoyed muffins and mulberry juice. Badger imagined the plants that would grow in perfect rows in his perfect garden. The next day, the sky sent showers. Badger smiled. The day after that, it sent heavy rain. Badger worried. The day after, it sent a downpour. Badger grabbed his umbrella and rushed outside. He ran up and down the rows, trying to cover his seeds. The rain kept pouring. Badger flung himself across the rows, doing his best to hold the earth together. Sticks and strings collapsed. The ground began to slide. Ah! Red Squirrel, Dormouse, and Weasel came running. "My beautiful seeds have washed away," Badger sniffled. "Seeds will float on the wind again when the sunniest days come," comforted Red Squirrel. "After the wildflowers bloom, there'll be seeds to collect," said Dormouse. "We can gather seeds when my vegetables ripen," said Weasel. "Collecting seeds is hard work, and besides, I'll have no perfect garden this summer," said Badger. Badger could not be consoled. He stayed in his house, busying himself with this and that. One summer day, in the middle of the afternoon nap, Badger heard a clamoring at his door. "Badger, come look, cried Red Squirrel, Dormouse, and Weasel. "Your seeds found another place to grow." "Those can't be my seeds," said Badger, rubbing his eyes. "They're all mixed up." "They just rearranged themselves," said Red Squirrel. "If you hadn't planted all of them over there, they wouldn't be here. Look at all the flowers." Oops. Badger stared at the hodgepodge of colors, the jumble-tumble of shapes and sizes. They made him feel jumbly and tumbly too. It looks like a celebration. It's the most perfect garden of all. And because the friends loved celebrations, they ran into the garden for a hodgepodge of garden games, jumbly-tumbly dancing, and muffins and mulberry juice. And that's the end of Badger's Perfect Garden. Okay, so we have reached the end of this week's story time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our story time all about gardening and flowers. We will have a brand new story time for you right here next week, so make sure you tune in for that. I'm sure it'll be fun. And why don't we go ahead and close out this week's story time with our goodbye song, Tickle the Clouds. Tickle the clouds, tickle your toes, turn around and tickle your toes. Reach down low, reach up high. Story time's over, so wave goodbye. Bye guys, thanks so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.